I guess at this time, what we'll do is I'll let each one of y'all get up and speak for 8 minutes, and then we'll field some questions from the audience. So, Dave, would you like to come up first? This is Mr. Dave McIntyre. Dave is going to give us the rundown.
Thank you very much. I'm going to put my watch up here. I wish my eyes were young enough that I could actually see it, but it'll help me keep track of hope. I am delighted to be here tonight, not just because I'm thinking about running for something, but I am delighted to see this growth. Last week I was in Washington, D.C. I cannot describe to you the contempt with which groups like this are held in Washington, D.C. Not just among elected officials, but especially within the news media. They have a contempt for your understanding of the nation, for understanding what should be done, and they are outraged that you would deem to try to tell your elected, anointed officials what's best for you. Absolutely outraged. They began by trying to dismiss you. Can't dismiss you anymore. So here's what you better get ready for. They are going to be making fun of you over and over and over again. The good news is this. This fire is not going to go out. The American people recognize the problem. This fire is not going to go out. Let me tell you briefly, this is very important. I am not an announced candidate for Congress. I need you to understand that tonight. I have no campaign material. I am a state employee. I teach at a state university. We have 3 weeks left in the semester. I have students. I have responsibilities. Until that is done, I cannot announce as a candidate. I can explore candidacy, and I am here to explore with you tonight, see what you think of me, what I think of you. But until the semester's over, I can't even take your money. You ought to be happy about that. Now, if you would like to help me pay some of my bills from last time I did this, I lent myself money. I have no outside bills. But if you'd like to help me back in my bank account, that's fine. But I cannot take new money. I do not have new literature. I do not have a website. I will not, because that's the rules. And I'm playing inside the rules. Because when the time comes to announce, I'm going to beat Chet Edwards, and I do not want some sneaky trick reaching back and saying, well, let me tell you about how you misused the rules here 2 weeks before you announced. Just so you know, I am in exploratory mode here tonight. That's the way in which I'm going to approach this. I have spent most of my adult life, 30 years in the Army. In that, about half of that time was operational assignments, airborne, ranger, reconnaissance, and about half of it was strategic, writing, teaching, strategy. I worked in the Army Chief of Staff's office, worked on Capitol Hill. I wrote strategy for the 4-star who commanded everything from California to India. I retired as the Dean of Faculty at the National War College. After that, I taught Homeland Security for the last 8 years. My focus for most of my adult life has been why some nations succeed and some nations fail. What we call strategy, just cause and effect. What do some nations do in their economy, in their organization for government, in the relationship between the government and the people, in the way they provide education for their children, in the way they organize their defenses externally and domestically? What do they do that makes them successful? And what do others do that makes them fail? Here was very good news for many years. We were one of the most successful nations in the history of the world. And the reason is because we had the fundamentals right. Our forefathers got it right coming out of the chute. They got it right because they based the Constitution, they based the rule of law on traditional Judeo-Christian principles. They work. We've seen that for 2,000 years of history. What happened? What happened is another set of ideas was born, very attractive. And those set of ideas say that everybody ought to be equal, not created equal. You know why that's important? Because created equal means nobody can take your rights away. They are given by God. They cannot be taken away by Congress, by the Supreme Court, by the President. They are not owned by those people. They are given to you by the Creator. We got a new set of ideas, and those ideas were that, you know what, everybody's pretty much the same. If some people act bad because they have bad experiences in life. We got a philosophy which said for the last 80 years that the job of the government is to take from those who work and save and give to those who don't. And here we are in big trouble. As a professional strategist, I'll tell you, we are about to turn the corner. And I am very pleased to see how educated you are on issues. You're reading, you're watching, you're using the internet. But I'm not sure you understand the depth of the problem. This business of deficit spending is going to haunt us for 2 generations. It's not just that we're spending money we don't have, which is bad enough. It's that whoever we borrowed it from owns us. And if they stop borrowing, we are in immediate economic collapse. Who has lent it to us? The Chinese. You know that our Secretary of Treasury went 2 months ago to China and promised them, made a speech, promised them that we would not do to China what we did to the American citizens who owned stock in GM. To keep borrowing our money, they required that we go and kowtow to them and explain how we would not shortchange them if they keep borrowing. We're in trouble. So let me just tell you, I think that we can turn this around. But to do this, we're going to have to unseat the politicians with these bad ideas, and we're going to have to replace them with politicians with good ideas. Not just politicians who will shake their finger in Nancy Pelosi's face, but politicians who understand how government works, understand the underlying principles of government, who have worked with this for years, and who can articulate what's wrong with their vision. That's where we've fallen short as conservatives. We have a generation of leaders who don't seem to be able to stand on the floor of the House and stand before C-SPAN and explain what's wrong with their problems. I can do that. I hope tonight as you ask questions, I'll get a chance to tell you more about my background and how I think I can solve these problems. If you will come with me, we will make America right again. Thank you for your time.